Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. So today we are going to do a little evening at home. So I wanted to give you a little update. These are our chicks that were hatched probably right around Labor Day, and as you can see they have grown nice and big. They're getting so close. I'm so excited. They're getting so close to starting, just kind of being able to be out with the rest of the flock and not having to keep them separated. So I decided to bring you along with me. Tonight is soup night, and I kind of wanted to give you an insight of kind of what we do in the evenings over here. We hang out with, after we, say hi to the goats for a few times. Christmas is quickly approaching, and I am also trying to kind of get a lot of things cleaned up, ready for when the kids are going to be home, because I don't want to be doing a bunch of, I'm going to keep my regular routines when the kids are home, but it has been really nice to have the kids at school during the day, and it allows me to get a lot more things done around the house, because a lot of times when the kids are home, it's just really hard to stay on top of things, because as much as I love them, they just like to, go in the room that I just got done cleaning, and then they end up making a mess. You know how it is. So I'm just kind of tidying up. It was a little bit messy. The kids are actually already home from school. They're all upstairs hanging out, and I am just kind of getting the kitchen I like resetting the main living area before my husband gets home, because then that way I don't have to worry. I can almost kind of take a break when he's home, and he can help kind of with the kids and stuff, but then there's not a big glaring house mess staring in my face. This is one thing that I also finally feel like I'm getting back in the routine of doing. It was really hard to stay on top of for a while, because I had, I don't know, I was just struggling with postpartum stuff and all the things, I guess. So it was something that I am starting to kind of get back into the routine of. One of the things that I like to do is I will put on a podcast or just some fun music, and it kind of helps keep me motivated. My goal is for this to only take me 15 or 20 minutes. Well, this took more like 15 or 20 minutes. Normally I want it to be 10-ish minutes, because it's one of those things that I feel like it's just hard to stay on top of, if you know what I mean. I don't know if I've told you, but I got a new dishwasher, which I am super excited about. It's called Melee or something. So our dishwasher died over the summer, and we had a warranty thing, so we got some money towards getting a new one. And it's really nice. It was an out-of-box item. It was half the normal price of, I think it was originally $1,200, and we got it for $650. But it's amazing, and it washes the dishes really well. So I'm just tidying up a little bit around here. It was kind of nice. I had the kids upstairs. Normally I have them help me clean up, but today, because I was filming, I didn't really want to push them to help me clean up, because sometimes I have to bribe them or whatnot. So I'm just kind of getting the living room cleaned up, and kind of trying to get everything cleaned up before I start dinner. I'm also kind of trying to prepare myself a little bit of what's going to happen when the kids are home from school and they're home full time, and just I want to keep a good routine going with me cleaning, and also with the kids, keeping them entertained, and also doing a few things together as a family. I'd like to maybe start reading some more books with them or something. We'll kind of see how it goes. Sometimes I feel like I have all these grand plans of doing all these cool things on Christmas break or summer break, and then I end up just kind of getting in a rut and not doing anything. So today I am making, it's zuppa Toscana. So it's very similar to the recipe. I got the recipe online. I can't remember what it was, but I'm actually using some of our elk meat that we hunted this year. So it's really exciting. And this is probably one of me and my husband's favorite. We once a week will always do a soup night in the fall and winter. This is probably one of the main, I literally work my weekly menu around a soup night. Because for me, I like having soups are really hearty, and they just taste really good, and they're just quick and easy for me. There's a lot of set it and forget it stuff. Right now I'm just putting in all the spices. So in the normal zuppa Toscana, they'll have you use spicy, I think it's pork sausage. But what I do is I use whatever. I can use beef. I've used our hamburger. This time I'm using elk, and then I found a recipe to find all the spices that are the spicy Italian sausage spices. and it turns any meat into basically that nice, it's got a medium spiciness to them. Of course, you can always add a little less or a little more depending on what your taste buds like, but I really love this soup. But I don't know, I really enjoy like cooking big hearty soups. I kind of enjoy stuff that like takes time to cook, like, and it simmers for a while, because I just feel like it kind of blends the flavors better, and you know, you just have a lot of really good, like, it just tastes better to me, I guess. So right now I'm making these. So this recipe is one that's kind of been passed down from it was from my aunt, and I'm sure she got it from some family member, and it's called 30-minute dinner rolls. And I make this or biscuits with every soup dish because my kids, I've said before, they're very picky eaters. And this is kind of a misnomer. It says 30-minute dinner rolls, but it's really not. It's like it has to rise for 30 minutes. So it's more like 45-minute, maybe an hour dinner rolls. But it's a really simple recipe. It's kind of a basic dinner roll recipe. And I normally will make this or biscuits to go with all my soups because they end up being, like, my kids are hit or miss with some of the soups. Like, it depends. Like, this one's a little on the spicy side, and my husband and I really like it. But I always make a batch of rolls so that they can have a little peanut butter on a roll or something if they don't want dinner. I have very, very picky kids, and that's one thing that's been hard with kind of this whole homesteading journey that we've been on. We're trying to cook, like, we raise some of our own meat now, and I'm trying to get a garden going, and my kids are just so picky. I have one kid that's decided she wants to be a vegetarian too because she doesn't like hurting animals, and we've tried to explain to her, like, one of the main reasons why we raise our own animals for me is because we want to give them a good life, and we don't want to hurt them. We don't want them to grow up in like a feedlot or in tiny little cages. But we try to respect her wishes, so I will always let her know if she asks about it. I'll let her know if it has meat or not. And and this is another reason why I make the bread rolls, because I'm trying to give her a meat-free option so that she doesn't feel, because I don't want her ever to feel like I don't support her. I mean, I'm not a fan of vegetarianism, but I also know that, like, and who knows, it could be a phase or it could not be. So I'm trying to kind of, you know, weather that, so to speak. But for the most part, she still eats meat on occasion, but she would just prefer not to. So I just try to like I don't want to be pushy in one way or another. So I just kind of try to make sure she has something to eat every day, kind of thing. So I'm cutting up the potatoes now. So I've browned all my elk meat, and I have the onions and the spices. So now what you do is you just I cube them up. I kind of made them bigger this time. You can make them smaller or bigger. And I throw them in the pot. And I think the recipe called for like 6 potatoes, but I ended up, some of my potatoes were on the small side, so I did 8. And it's another way, if you want to kind of stretch your recipe, you could add a couple more potatoes, and it just kind of makes it a little bit more, you know, heartier, I guess. So, and I had made some chicken broth last week. So I actually make chicken broth a lot in winter too. And I don't actually can it because I go through it so fast. So I'm doing 1 quart of chicken broth, 1 quart of water, and then I add about 2 chicken bouillon cubes to add some more spice and kind of give that water some more flavor. And with my broth, like, my favorite thing to do is, when I processed my chickens this last summer, and I think I even showed you, I left like the spine and the wings and like all the pieces of the chicken that we don't really like eat of, you know, because we're not big chicken wing people. And I throw it in the crock pot 12 hours overnight, and basically it cooks and makes amazing broth. So basically 1 crock pot, and I cook it on low, by the way. It's low, 12 hours. I throw in a carrot, an onion, and a celery stick, like cut it up a little bit. And normally it yields about 2 to 3 quarts of chicken broth, and I just throw it in my fridge. And during the winter, like, I'm cooking soup once a week, so I'm using at least 1 quart, if not 2, once a week for for all my soups. They pretty much all have like a chicken broth base. So now I'm just using my hand to kind of mix the bread rolls. So basically I let the yeast activate, and now I put the flour in. It's like 3 to 4 cups of flour. And then I'm going to kind of roll it into somewhat of a ball. It's a little bit like the recipe, it always seems to be different every time I make it. Some days it's like extra sticky, other days it can be like almost a little crumbly. And this one, it got a little bit on the crumbly side. So, but either way, it all turns out practically the same. So I threw the threw the ball back in there, letting it rise for the 30 minutes and just kind of tidying up a little bit and waiting for the soup to kind of get done. So this soup kind of goes really quickly. It can cook very fast. Some of my favorite soups are the ones where ham potato soup's one of my favorite. I'll have to show it. I'll have to cook it for you guys sometime. And I put like the whole ham shank bone in, and you boil it with the bone, and it is, so you make broth with the ham bone, and it is fabulous. Like, I crave that soup every time I have it. So it is so good. But I feel like it's been a little bit of adjustment, kind of learning how to cook more from scratch, and learning how to, like I said, it takes more time, so I feel like I have to be more intentional each of the evenings. And so sometimes I just get dinner done and I don't get the house picked up. But I'm really trying to get back into that routine because I just feel better with kind of the living room a little bit reset. Like I said, I didn't vacuum, I didn't dust. It's just more so picking up the toys and kind of getting everything ready. So now I'm throwing the rolls on the pan, and then I kind of let them quote unquote rise for like 10 more minutes while the oven is preheating. And then it's like preheat to 400, and you cook them for about 12 to 13 minutes in my oven. And they're delicious, and my kids love them, and they just have that really good from scratch taste, which I absolutely love. So I feel like as I go into kind of when the kids are starting Christmas break, because they'll be on Christmas break starting this week actually, I'm kind of looking forward to I just want to do some resting and relaxation the next 2 weeks, because I kind of feel like we're at the end of the year, end of the season, and I'm looking forward to kind of planning and getting ready for like our goals and what we want to do in the next year. But right now I'm just really hoping to kind of rest and relax and kind of recuperate, so to speak. So I'm looking forward to a lot of restful days ahead. So I use spinach in my recipe. I think it actually calls for kale, or I think it is kale. But I use spinach because it's a better flavor. I like it better. I actually put a ton of spinach in this one because I had it and I just wanted to kind of get it used up. And it was absolutely delicious, like perfect. And like I said, you have some vegetables, you have broth. I did put about a cup of milk in there too. And so this is the finished product. It was so good. The bread rolls were delicious and everything was great. So we had a yummy, yummy dinner tonight. And so I'm just kind of ending my day with a cup of, I love the mint medley tea. It's one of my favorites. I like to just kind of throw a tea kettle on at the end of the day, and it just kind of helps me relax and unwind. So I hope you all are having an amazing Christmas season and an amazing evening. And thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.